All right, so I don't know if anybody's even here. Don't know if they are, but just gonna chill, be live. Whoever else is here and who liked the video, thank you for at least doing that. If the TV is too loud, let me know. I don't want it to be too annoying and stuff. But I'm gonna have the Xfinity Series race on in a tab. I gotta check one thing here. Dude, this cup stuff is just a fucking pain in the ass, man. Like, I don't know why this stuff. Oh, he ever update me? Still missing. Yeah, we're still missing lines. Okay. Oh, fucking course, I gotta update iRacing. Fucking course, I always gotta update that. Yeah, man, you guys want to talk? I'll probably do cup projections and stuff. Like, oh my lord, dude, I can't do all these fucking updates. This is ridiculous. Yeah, fucking. I mean, if you guys want to talk NFL, we can talk NFL stuff. Dude, I got some of these. I hate iRacing so much, dude. It's gonna cause my fucking Chrome windows to be slow as hell with downloading all these stupid tracks. Gotta uncheck every single track that I am just not gonna bother downloading. Oh, I need an extra card. Okay, that's fine. Hmm. Okay, need it next gen. Okay, that's fine. I got not download Talladega. I don't really need that. Start next gen. All right, let me download that. All right. So let me see what happened with these cup laps. Let's see what happened with these Bristol laps. So these are my laps. Let's see. I'm not sure what happened with the ping because I have some laps that Pierce doesn't have. Kind of like vice versa too. All right, so what line? What laps are missing here? So I have these. I need to figure out what time my thing stopped pulling because My scraper stopped working for like 3 minutes. No, it didn't actually. I shouldn't have any missing laps. I shouldn't have a ton. I might have some that like skipped or something, but I don't think I have any that are fucking missing. Go all the way to the end. Who's this? Chase Elliott, Almirola. Let's see. Chase Elliott, Almirola. Right. Chase Elliott, Almirola. 10 and 11. 10 and 11. I got that. That's 57, 57. Lap 53, lap 52, lap 51. Dude, I just fucking, like, we're missing fucking lines. It's so fucking weird, dude. That's fucking brutal, dude. Just, let's control C. Oops. Control C. Let's see. That there. So that's that. That's there. Got those laps. I guess fuck it, I'll just do them all at the top. I'll start with Chastain. 8 and 9. Nope. Okay, that's good. 33. 38. All right. So Chastain is good. All right. What about Cindric? Sterling, I don't do college football because I don't pay attention to college football a lot. And anytime that I have done it, I'm just kind of using the same information that other people use. And I don't have, and I hate when other people are like, I don't have an edge. I need an edge, because sometimes you're just not going to have edges. However, I am like, my education on like the college football and the players and stuff. Like, I don't know who a lot of these people are and stuff. So not only do I not have like an edge, but like I just don't know a lot of stuff, and so I'm just I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball with college football, so I don't play it a lot. I do have the race on, so if you guys want to talk about the Xfinity Series race, we can do that as well. See, like they just took the green on my end, and I got a commercial free stream, so I guess I'll update you guys if shit happens under commercial or something. Let me see ownership real fast. Gibbs 61, Allgaier 49, Leatherman 41, yeah, Creed, Gregson, Sanchez, Graf. Ownership is pretty decent past, a lot of guys in the 20s, but that's pretty expected. Bobby at 12, that's kind of shocking. I thought he was fine, but I didn't think he was worth 12. I didn't think the field would clear at 12. Austin Hill, 11%. That's interesting because I got Hill in 2 of my 5 lines. I thought Austin Hill would be way higher than that. What's going on? 11 during the start race. That'd be fun. I love. Oh yeah. It's just that I really don't have time to do it a lot. Usually I'm busy, or I like just kind of just want to chill and stuff. But I have to work right now anyway. Oh, we got a caution. 48 cars sparking. Let's see. I want to see what Chris Wright came in at. Chris Wright's at 6.7, man. He's destroyed so many people. Nobody wants to mess with him. Dude, I mean, I can't believe Nick is a really, really good driver. I can't believe that guy didn't smack the wall. I would have wrecked the heck out of that car, man. That car blows, or that tire blows, I'm smacking that wall. There's no way in hell I have that. Ain't nothing happening. Nothing much happening, Chad. I'm going over, making sure I got I haven't moved it into the main sheet. So if you're a Patreon member, you can't hasn't been moved yet. But I'm just making sure that I'm not missing I'm missing lap times, which it doesn't seem like I am. Cindric 32. Yeah, okay. Let's see, I got that. I got Yaley 789, 789, 789, 789. 789, that's fine. Eric Jones, lap 1. Eric Jones, lap 1, that's fine. Stenhouse, lap 1. Stenhouse, lap 1. Okay. That is a... Yeah, okay. Let's see, Control Z that. Control C like an idiot. All right, so that's there. Where? Okay, so that's actually 119. Okay. I got that. McDowell, Michael McDowell. Okay, that's fine. Oof, can't do that. Where's my StreamYard tab? All right, let's see. What's going on here? I'm doing a 20 max. What's the easiest way to make lines without optimizer without getting too much of a driver? So with me, when I thank you guys for chilling with me. So how I approach it is probably different than how other people do it. So for me, I worry about ownership, how much ownership I have to a driver, roughly around like halfway, not even through my process, but halfway through building lines. Like, for example, if I have, which I'm not exactly sure how many lines I want to do tomorrow, because Bristol's going to be fun, a lot of possibilities, but I haven't even seen the starting grid yet. There's a lot of ways that I can go, but normally what I do is I build my projections. I build the projections, and if I feel like I'm going to do 20 lines, we have an MME tool, which is basically an optimizer, on the Google Drive that isn't like shitty. It actually works really good, and it's what I use. Like I don't use SaberSim, I don't use Fantasy Cruncher. No shade towards those guys. I don't feel like I need the need for that because I'm not building 150 lines, and I am very happy with what we have here. So normally I put my projections in and just run them with no limitations on drivers, just the basic rundown of what the not ownership, but like you can tell it how much you want of a driver, how least you want of a driver. I don't touch any of that. I just run it the first time. And so while that's running, because I don't mess with anything, while that's running, I usually go over, look at my projections, and go through and start in my mind. I'm gonna put the race on the side. In my mind, I start removing people that I don't want to have in my pool in my head. So if I see somebody who isn't scoring, value 5x around there, I what is it? I identify people that I want to remove. Okay, and so usually by that point the optimizer is done running on the baseline, like run. So what I do is I look at kind of what the ownership that thing is giving me in like the 150 line. We got a yeller. What is a yellow for? That yellow came out way early. Like that yellow was out before he was even sideways. I don't see what happened. Creed, dude. I'm telling you, man. Creed ain't even no shit tonight. I'll look at the 150 lines. I'll look at the ownership that is distributing, and at that point, I feel comfortable enough to seeing that is the ownership that really what the field is going to use. Like where people are going to come around, it's normally around that. As long as my projections aren't crazy, I can usually have a good line of or a good idea of where ownership comes in. At that point, I usually write down the total number of that highest scoring line. Because when I start removing people and force the optimizer to use certain people, I typically get higher scoring lines. But usually I'll use that as like a baseline just to understand, like, I can't think of one right now, but like, say if that line has like, if the total is like 250 or something, I'll write that down and understand that, all right, 250, anything like significantly near that I want to be ahead of. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but just based on the optimizer that we have, or the MME tool that we have, if it's using everybody, it might not get the highest scoring lines automatically. Like, we have to kind of tinker with it. And so once that's ran, I go through and start eliminating people from the pool that I had looked at and understood that, okay, I don't want to use these guys because they're either, I don't like them, they're not projecting well, whatever the case is. So at that point, I rerun the optimizer. Okay. And then once that happens, I typically get the higher scoring lines than like my 250 line that I had. And whatever that highest scoring line is, I usually play that one line. Okay. Or if I like a couple lines out of the 150 it made, I might play a couple from that. But personally, for me, I don't run the optimizer and then play lineups just from that. I might take a few that it makes, and write them down and enter them, but I don't take it from like one sample. And what I mean by that is, once I run that, I then go through a second time and remove even more people from the pool and get really aggressive with removing people. And then I usually take that highest scoring line and stuff. So for me, it's like it's a multi-step process when I'm building lines. And I'll usually enter around 6 or 7. Excuse me. I don't know why my nose is giving me so much, or why my sinuses are giving me so much issue right now. But usually, when I do 20 lines, probably 6 are made from the optimizer, and the other 14 I just hand build. Once I start seeing how lineups are being made, once I start seeing how I want to get different, where I want to go, and things like that. So I don't know if that necessarily answers your question or if that helps you out, but that's how I usually go about building like 20 lines, or if I'm looking at 20 max and stuff. So it's not necessarily the easiest way to go about it. And the reason, like, okay, so like going back, typically once I've like entered the lines that I like from the optimizer, once I've hand built like 5 or 6 lines, I'm usually at like 13 to like 15 lineups made on DraftKings. And so at that point, I then look at the ownership that I have distributed between drivers. And I look of, okay, I'm fine with where I'm at there. Or, oh, I probably don't have enough of this guy. Or, okay, say I'm at like 70% in this guy. All right, I might make like 2 more lines with him, and then I won't touch him again. And it'll probably even out to him being at like 60, 65%. That's how I know that's like a real backwards way of doing it, but that's how I go about building lines, worrying about my own ownership to people, things like that. That's usually how I go about it, or that is how I go about it. So hopefully that helps you out, Chad. Dude, I'm so tired of fucking being sick. This is ridiculous. This is ranunculus. All right. This is what I mean. Like, dude, there's no Gibbs has to be taken out of this race because nobody's going to beat him on the short run, and that more he's going to pull away from people. Like they've broken. It's not broken. I can't believe they added progressive banking to fucking Bristol, dude. It's so fucking stupid. However, I do like low line Bristol much more than high line Bristol. At least you can move people out of the way. But man, when somebody's locked in on their setup, it is so hard to beat them. All right, let's keep going through. Checking these lines here. Not these lines, checking these times. All right, so who is this? Oh, yeah, that's Michael McDowell. Okay. I just fucking swallowed my cough drop. On hold, I did not mean to do that. I was basically just like breathing through my nose and fucking swallowed my own cough drop. Not even trying to. All right. I think I have about fixed most of these. Most of these lines have been fixed pretty good. Not lines, but most of these laps. All right, let me see. How do you get to feeling comfortable with projecting people or taking people out? I'm trying to get more comfortable with my thinking. So with me, and I'm sorry that it'll take like a minute and a half to like see this stuff. So for me, I've always been I've always had a very high risk tolerance. Um and that hasn't changed based on the Daytona weekend. I play the exact same that I was playing before that. That's usually like in this race here, this fitting, like I said, I got 5 lines in the 5 or 5 lines in the 10, 5 in the 20, 5 in the 1. So what is that? That's $75 on there. But typically for NASCAR week in and week out, weekend and stuff, it's usually probably around like 300 for me. 300, 400. Just depends on how much I use earlier in the week really it depends on how much time I have. Like this Bristol night race, I like it because I have an entire day to be able to build lines and really focus in on it. But when it's like the day for Xfinity, I usually just don't have time and stuff. So it kind of goes back to the video that I was saying earlier. Like I'm comfortable going 100% on people and smaller in contest sizes like this. And when I specifically have only like 4 or 5 lines, I'll be much more aggressive and I won't really care about what my own personal ownership is. When I get to around 20 lines and stuff, it really comes down to me like being okay with the fact that I can lose all my money. Okay, I have played the worst in my life when I can't afford to lose the money. Okay, because then I don't take risks that I think can provide a good return. I play very close to the chest. I don't reach out enough. I don't trust my gut. So I've learned over the years of I just need to go in not worrying. Like clear, I mean, I don't want to lose the money. Like nobody wants to lose money, but if it happens, like I'm not upset and stuff. You know, very similar to like NFL Showdown and stuff. Like and any sport for that matter. Like I said, sorry about my sinuses and stuff. I think this not even the secret, but just be okay like losing the money. And when you accept that fate, you can then feel like the I don't know, like the risk, the anger and stuff. Like today, I'll use Gibbs for example, because like I mean I'm 100% on Gibbs tonight, but I probably would have been very high on him anyway. Like if he let's see, we have another yellow. Oh, good job, Nick. Man, what a Chad. Brandon Jones moving him out of the way, but like it just comes down like if Gibbs wrecks, I lose $75. You know, like I don't know, I'm okay with that. And so let's say you're doing the 20 for 20, like that $80 that you have in like the 4 or something. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Also, another thing for me is when I build multiple lines, like if you look at your contest line and you have your little like circle dude and he goes like to first or last or whatever. I personally, and I know it's like against what people want to do, like with stocks and stuff. Look, I don't really diversify on stocks and stuff. Like I'm comfortable with what I have. If it crashes, it crashes. I'm not entirely worried. Same thing with DFS. Like when I build lineups, they are all built very similar. So they either all, for the most part, like most of them will do well or they're not going to cash at all. I don't like covering a lot of possibilities. I like focusing on the possibilities that I like and I think is giving me a lot of leverage, that gives me a lot of upside, that gives me a lot of different stuff, and I build that way, And so it also comes from the fact that you need. That's kind of why I dick around about the drivers and stuff, about safety and stuff, because you have to remove the driver from these. Like we can't see it as like like Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell. I see it as driver A, driver B, driver C. Driver B is projected for 78 points, or so on and so forth. So I just play the numbers. Like I look at this as like a math game and try and see how I can get the highest score and stuff like that. I think just being comfortable taking risks, being comfortable like losing the money. A lot of people like don't talk about that a lot, but every dollar I put in this, I don't expect to see it back. I that's how I kind of look at it, Chad. So for me with NFL, I don't make multiple lineups for NFL. I am specifically a single entry guy, and not like I only do single entry contests. I only built one line. Like this past weekend, opening weekend, I'll tell you the line that I made, and I'll kind of tell you where I'm looking at this week. Another thing is I don't really watch, like I watch the NFL games like friends and stuff, but I'm not like sitting in front. Maybe this Sunday. I got fuck all to do. I'll probably be listening to like the red zone while I like pack and stuff. But I just do one line for NFL. For FanDuel, it's different. I like entering more lines on FanDuel. I like entering more lines on Yahoo. But for DraftKings, I just like doing one line. Like like even at Showdown too. Like yesterday, where are we at? Yesterday, didn't make anything. Lost about $100 there because I had Smith Schuster in the captain. I had Austin Eckler, Gerald Everett, Kelsey Mahomes, and Justin Watson. I like that line. I look at that line and I'm like, I'm not even mad, man. Kansas City just didn't have a good day. Kelsey underperformed, Juju underperformed, but I like that build. I like the fact that I got a very low-owned Justin Watson. Not lined in cash, but I can look at that and be happy with my process. When we look at Sunday stuff, we had a really, really good Sunday. I cashed in every single contest on Sunday. They're going back green. Where are we at, man? NFL. What? Oh, first page. I think going over like how I build stuff makes more sense to like answer these types of questions and stuff. So like last Sunday, had Julio Jones as the captain, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Fournette, Pollard, Dalton Schultz. That was the line that I went with in the main slate, which I mainly only play the main slate. I used to play more Showdown. I used to play more early slate, late slate stuff, but I don't feel the need to. But anyway, so last week I went Derek Carr, Barkley, Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, AJ Green, Travis Kelce, Romeo from Green Bay, and the Bears for my defense. And that I entered that in every single contest that I could find. Whether it was the $100 Millionaire Maker, whether it was a $27 entry, like that. That's how I approach it. And so I mainly do like a single stack with one bring back, or sometimes I don't even have a bring back. I know that's probably not like to chase like gigantic tournaments. We want to stack a team and have a bring back and stuff. But I mainly just do my quarterback, the receiver that I like, and depending on the week and the pricing, bring it back with one guy. So like last week, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen. I think last week, like NFL is so based on ownership, you have to be ahead of the crowd, So last week was the time to play Devontae Adams. I don't think he outscores the 33 points. I think he probably scores closer to like 26, 27 this week. I'm leaning to. I will admit I did do another line just to see what would happen. I swapped out Chubb, and I think I played Pierre from Houston, and I played Tyreek Hill just to see what the ownership was, see how that build would work out. now in cast as well. But like looking at this weekend, and I think we can get like everybody's focused on in Arizona, because everybody's injured there. I don't understand why people aren't going to Zach Ertz. So I will probably play Zach Ertz on Sunday because everybody wants to pay down at tight end this week unless you're playing Andrews. Why? I don't trust AJ Green. I don't trust. It starts with a G. I don't even remember, dude. I can't remember his name. I don't necessarily want to follow the ownership, and I'm fine getting different with my tight end. So I'm probably going to play Zach Ertz this weekend. I'm debating if I want to do 2 running backs or 3 running backs, and I haven't exactly decided what I want to do with that yet. My pool for running backs is Barkley, Mixon, and Chubb again. I understand that the Barkley ownership is going to be a lot higher this weekend because they're chasing how he's playing, but he has an absolute huge timeshare. Not timeshare, but he's the bell cow. People aren't noticing how great Mixon had, even with that game going in overtime. Mixon had a fantastic day, and I don't think people really realize that. Nick Chubb, nobody fucking owned him last weekend. I doubt we're gonna get that much higher on him, because people still want to chase McCaffrey. People still want to chase Taylor. Personally, I don't like paying up at running back. I never have. I always like sticking in like the 7Ks and 6K ranges and stuff. I don't even remember what your question was. Do you have the same strategy? Do you go 100% on 2? Oh yeah, so yeah, I only do 1 line, so I'm 100% on everybody. That was a very long-winded answer. I apologize for that. I'll say I don't know if I'm going to do a bring back, but I am probably leaning towards using Tyreek Hill and Tua this weekend. But yet again, I mean, this is Friday. Still waiting for news. But typically as I go throughout the week, I typically know where I want to go. Like I said, I don't see myself leaving the running back pool of using 2 or 3 of the Barkley, Mixon, and Chubb. I'm pretty sure I'm going to play Tua. Pretty sure I'm going to play Tyreek Hill. I want to see the rest of the news to figure out where else I want to go this weekend. But I only do 1 line. And so I'm not making NFL lines right now. All this stuff is stuff that I've done on the week. I'm currently fixing practice my lap data for the Cup Series sheet while I wait for my league race to start at the top of the hour, or at least my session go up at the top of the hour on iRacing. It's the Super Speedway. It's Rodcar, actually. It's Rodcar. Been around for 10 years. I've been in this league on and off for about 8. Got 3 wins over the years. Just super speedways and stuff. I like it. It's a good use of time. I always have fun. That was a long caution period, man. That was a long caution. All right, let's see. Help the same done question. I always wonder how you or anyone else makes projections. Do you figure out every driver where you think they fit? So I do not use computers. Everything I project with is in my noggin using stuff. And that's not me being like closing my eyes. I rubbed stones together and saw, Gregson or, Kyle Busch finishing 7th today with 17 fast laps. Like I don't do that. I just look back at how they perform, at tracks that I think works well at or works well compared to what we're at now. I look back at just how they click off fast lap stuff throughout the season at tracks that I think like it really does go back to me looking at like lap by lap data, seeing how the races play out. That's why I like taking notes. That's why I like rewatching races. In terms of finishing position, I just project guys to finish where I truly believe that they're going to finish at. I don't use median projections. I don't use a ceiling or a floor. I just use one solid projection. Go from there. But yeah, it's not a dumb question at all. I know other people have different ways to go about it, but and especially now, the reason I like, I mean, first off, I like how I do it in general. A lot of people do. I mean, clearly that's why we get supported and stuff. Um, but a lot of people use optimizers, and I mean, this is a very long conversation to get into, so I'm not going to like go into every avenue of this because if you're in the Discord, we've kind of had these before. But an optimizer can't uh, factor in like certain, not even like certain things, but um, like if you just put in like medium projections and build lines off of that, I think especially now for NASCAR with everybody focused on NFL and NBA is going to come back soon. Like, I would much rather like really dive into stuff and try and nail things down. Let's see how we're doing right now. I haven't even checked my lines. I checked ownership and stuff when it first started. I really, like I said, I'm not even really paying attention to the race. So, okay, so here's like a good idea, and this is not me like showing off because clearly anything can happen here, and I understand like this is kind of like weird on a camera, but you can see that like out of my 5 lines, I mean this is looking real dog shit. It's basically like 3 distinct like groups. So this is that's 2 lines. This is 2 lines. This is 1 line. So they're all built very similar and stuff, with like different pivots and stuff. And so this was basically me choosing 3 angles with 100% Gibbs that I kind of wanted to look at. And like I said, I only had 5 reserved lineups and stuff, but that's typically how I play. Like I know some people would have 5 lineups and like they're spread out across the field, where I try and just nail them or build them very similar and stuff. And so, okay, so I think this is wrong, and um, this is why, like, usually I'm not live during a race because I want to not tracking my line specifically, but I like to see what lines are doing in terms of what the race is doing. And there's a feller I need to talk to him. We've talked about working on something to show. I don't know in a lot of detail, but being able to see how lines are doing in a race to where you don't have to watch it at a time. I think you can learn a lot about how to build lines, how to that's an I'm sorry, I'm going like circles. Kind of going back to what you were asking, Chad, how do I feel okay like removing people? It's the same thing here. I look at these lines and I don't see that I'm winning money. I'm looking at how my lines are being distributed right now. I look at how this ownership is relative to other people's ownership, where the duplications are. Like right now, Todd 005 is winning the $10. I don't think it's stupid to be like, yeah, he's winning. He has a good line. Gibbs Gregson. I like that build. Where did he get different here? Playing a lot of Weatherman. That's fine. Curry, Jeb, Burton, Sieg. We can understand that line will most likely not still stay there at the end of the night, but we can see the type of build that if this race would go this way, end up completing this way, or like going, not even going this way, but playing out in a similar fashion, this is the type of build that would work. I think you can learn so much from looking at lineups and looking at them in real time. But you have to not focus on the money. I know that's like insane, but it's very much the Joker, setting the money on fire. It's not about the money, it's about sending a message. It's not about the money here. It's about learning what you can learn from that. When you remove that aspect from it and you remove the money, what is everything looking at? What is everything moving at? You know? Like when I see this, now, you know, my first lines are still at the top of the leaderboard. My second group of lines have moved closer to the cash line. What is that? What change? Like I'm not watching right now, so I can't answer that question. But what happened to cause that second group of lines to move up and pass other people? What's causing other lines to fall farther down the leaderboard? It's not about the money. It's about the positions in the contest and relative to what the other lines are doing. That's how I like to look at stuff. That's why I enjoy looking and keeping track of lines during a race and understanding what is being changed. What is it like every time something happens on track? I think you can learn a lot from that. Yeah, I mean that's not, dude. I would probably still. I've done that before too. That's why I don't fuck with college, man. I'm such a fish in that. Um, Do you find it profitable to enter 1 to 5 lineups into 150 match? I always thought that wouldn't work. So for me, I excuse me. For NASCAR, I'm okay doing that. For NFL, because for me, as I said, I do one line. So I am not football is not my main sport that I focus on. I focus on NASCAR. I feel comfortable, and I have I don't want to use the word profitable because over the grand scheme of things, like yes, sure, I've been profitable, but when I'm thinking specifically of some of my best, let's take Daytona out of the equation. Auto Club 2020, I tied first with that. I think I only played 4 lines. Martinsville this year, when I tied for first in that as well, I think I had 12 lines because I've never won 50. But first off, I don't have the money to do that. Okay, a lot of people think that. You know, a lot of people have asked me lately, "Am I going to 150 max? You know, a NASCAR? I'm not going to put 1,500 down on that. I would much rather. And this is what I do instead. I build 20 lines because I like being able to enter all the 20 maxes. I like having that available to enter all the contests that would allow me to enter 150, but I just enter 20 of them. And so I like entering the 15 with 20. I like entering the 4 with 20. I like entering the second 15 with 20, you know. And usually when that gets up there, I'm usually around like 800, $700 invested in a weekend. If I decide, like if I'm doing 20 lines, I usually try and jam it in every single lineup and every single contest that I want to. But this is a huge misconception. Like you don't need 150 lines. Like if you have 150 lines, that does not guarantee you profiting or even winning that contest. Okay, when you look at the Millionaire Maker, this is a huge example. And I haven't looked at it this year or following last year, but looking at it several years ago, probably like entering 2021. I have a video from like way long ago talking about. I think I taught it like secrets to win a Millionaire Maker and stuff. It was very like amateur and stuff. But it took a lot of articles that were relative at the time. I think the data is kind of out of not out of print right now, but I don't know if it's relative data because it is several years old. But you would see that yes, some people who enter 150 lines win the Millionaire Maker, but you also see a big majority of the people who win the Millionaire Maker enter less than 20 lines. You know, I forgot the percentage, but there are people who enter 1 line who win it. There's people who enter less than 5 lines and win it. There's people who enter less than 20 lines and win it. And so the amount of lines that you're entering aren't and that doesn't guarantee or even lower your risk of losing or winning money. It just depends on how you approach it, you know. So do I find it profitable entering 1 to 5 lineups to do 150 max? I don't even look at it in that sense. I look at it as, do I like these 5 lines? Do I think that they are different from what the field is doing in some form or fashion, or even if they're duplicated? Do I think these lines are good enough to compete for being a top 1% line? If I believe that, then I would answer to say that you could be profitable with that, and that's how I go about it. If that makes sense, hopefully it makes sense. So here's another thing, and I'm doing this to explain like how my brain works. Yeah, they went to caution like right as the commercial came out. So, and I wish I could just stream it on here and stuff. Or although I guess I could, I don't really want to. So at this point, I have 3 of my 5 lines working. I've now had that second group of lines break apart. They're no longer scoring the exact same way. Some pivot between my 3rd highest scoring line and my 4th highest scoring line has made a huge difference of 11 points. And so this one has this one. So one of the lines that was different or that came down had Nick Sanchez. That's the main difference between these 2 lines right now. I don't know if this will help, but I'll tell you my 2 highest lines, or at least how I build, how I put lines together. Best one so far is Gibbs, Gregson, Austin Hill, Weatherman, Joe Graf Jr., and CJ. Second one is Gibbs, Allgaier, Hill, Weatherman, Joe Graff Jr., and CJ. And so those are separated by 4 points right now, and both in the top 200. And so, yeah, again, like this contest isn't done. We're not counting the money, but we're understanding what is putting these lineups in the top. What would that be? I'm terrible. I never. First off, never do math on stream. That's just a law that I live by. 5,800, 200 to 58. Let me look. 200. What percent of 58? 58. So I have right now 2 of my lineups are in the top. I would say 3% of the contest right now. I just try and get as many of my lines in my, I guess, portfolio that people. I know people use that word for lines. I don't, because they look at it as like in terms of stocks and stuff, and that makes sense. I don't really like that term. But out of my 5 lines, 2 are in the top 3% right now. And so in the grand scheme of things, 40% of my lines are top 3% lines at the moment. I know it's like speaking very like very absolute because it's just 5 lines, but I try and get as many of my I try and get a high percentage of my lines to be in that tiny percentage up top. Like, does this make sense at all? I hope it does. I know it's like 60 guys listening, but that's how I try and get stuff. So even in NASCAR, if somebody projects out well, I'm going to play them regardless of ownership. If I fade chalk, it's because I think that excuse me, I think that I can get different from it. So like I think on Sunday, based on, and I'm not just talking Arizona because I'm a Cardinal fan. Um, like Arizona is wounded right now, right? Marquise Brown's not going to be popular. Clearly, nobody's playing Hopkins. I got burned as well with AJ Green last week, but that's not why I'm not playing him. I think Greg Dort, whatever, $3,500 for the Cardinals, based on the targets that he got last week, based on the amount of field time that he had or snaps. Like, this is why I don't fucking cover NFL. I think Greg is going to be chalky. I don't know what his ownership's going to be, but I think a lot of people are going to use him as a value play. Okay, so for me, I understand that people are probably going to go there. I don't necessarily want to go, and this is just where I'm at. I don't want to follow like a cheap. I hate following cheap receivers on the NFL because I think we can get different elsewhere. That's the main reason why I feel very okay playing Zach Ertz tomorrow in the tight end position, because tight end you already get ownership discounts to people in general. And people are paying down for tight end. Like if that's a chalk play, not exactly like one chalk play, but if people are paying down at tight end, if you kind of pay up, or if you're just not getting to the low end, you're already getting different there. It's not necessarily like I'm fading player A because he has this amount of ownership. I'm fading like that type of build. Like I like fading more like build types than like player types um, with that. And then on FanDuel and Yahoo, I don't fucking give a shit about ownership because those sites are usually softer anyway. We cashed on FanDuel as well last weekend. I'll tell you how I kind of went there as well. And that makes sense. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. It's so weird because like it's so funny with FanDuel. I'm like I don't really give a shit of how things play out. Um, I did 3 lines last weekend, built very similar. I play them like last week. I just did the 9, 3, 2, 1, 15, and 4. And I'll tell you the lines I went there. Like this weekend on FanDuel, on Sunday rather. What's going on? Who is messaging me here? That's weird. Like this weekend, I'm I'll probably play more aggressive on FanDuel for NFL because at this point the overlay is kind of getting, it's kind of escaping. As I said, people are fucking leaving the NFL because they lost their ass, earlier in the year. I try and play a shitload the first like 4 weeks of the season, and then that's it. Like I basically like do very little NFL past the first month because I want to go against as many new players as possible. I want to play against as many people who don't know what they're doing, where we don't have the data to support what teams are doing. That's why I play aggressive. And so I'm probably going to do one line on FanDuel this weekend. I'm in the 44, the 22, the 10, and a lot of smaller ones. But last weekend, and this isn't me like doing victory laps. That's why I don't like doing this stuff, because people just like, oh, you're showing up. Like I'm explaining how I build stuff, how I go about it. Last week, FanDuel, Herbert, Barkley, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which I wish I had him originally on DraftKings, and I got off him. I should have trusted my gut. But Herbert, Barkley, Edward. Let me check this out. Creed just took the lead. Herbert, Barkley, Edwards-Helaire, Adams, Allen, Watkins, Kelsey, Juju, and Detroit. That was one of them. You'll see that these are built very similar. Other one was Carr, Barkley, Swift, AJ Green, Watkins, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, Keenan Allen. And then my third and final one was Mahomes, Barkley, Jones, Adams, AJ Green, Cooper, Kelsey, MVS, and Detroit. So I basically just built around the same guys, really. That's just how I play DFS in general. I don't know. I'm gonna need to go ahead and get these. I'm going to put these practice laps into the sheet now, because I have taken my sweet time, and I meant to get this done a long time ago. Let me put this here. I gotta make sure it updates too. All right. Let's get Cup there. All right. Re-import, paste. I'll get this up, and then I'll check the comments in a second. In a second. This takes forever to load. Okay, so that loads there. Let's see if this updates. Refresh this. Well, I heard Junior scream. I was like, "Whoa, there he is!" I know. Actually, that was Jeff. That wasn't Junior. See, this is another thing that I do. Oh, I need to update the average. So let me get this here. But at least I got the laps there. I'll have to. Off the top of my head, I don't know if Xfinity goes to another track that I can really use Bristol data. But I'm gonna have to rewatch this race because I have no idea what's going on. I don't know why. Creed has the lead. You don't have to tell me. I'll just rewatch it. I assume it was on pit road or something. What did I change it to? Was it 110? Let's do that. 100 and 110. We'll work with that. Whoa, what the fuck happened there? Son of a bitch. There we go down there. Okay, so that's there. If you're on the, yeah, okay, so I think 110 is fine. I could have probably bumped it up to 112. I think 110 is fine. All right, so that's fixed. Let me get this conditional formatting updated. So I do 110. Yeah, I'll do 110 here. Color scale, number. 110. That'll work. Landon Castle down into the pits, having trouble. Going to make a wedge adjustment under this green flag pit stop. All right, if you guys are on the Patreon, Cup Series is all good to go. It took me an hour to get there, but it is all good to go. I need to tell Pearson I got that Looks like he's making a 2-tire call. Castle's going to leave his pit lane. Going to be multiple laps down. Let me do this. Cup laps are updated. This is also why I don't go live a lot. I'm typically just here silent, doing just absolutely boring stuff. He is smoking, driver. He is still smoking. Bring it down. Bring it down. It looks like your caliper is locked onto the rotor. Castle gonna have to bring it in. Didn't Voyager go bankrupt? Like what a scam that was. All right, let's see this. Yeah, Tampa Bay is gonna be rough. I like Julio Jones. I liked him Sunday. I like him in this situation. I'm waiting to see how everything shakes out. I really like Julio on Sunday. Let's see this. But I should. It sucks winning 10-20. You know that's why does your strategy of watching lineup work during race? Would crash? Well, it's not a strategy watching. It's as I said, I'm deep in the weeds of how people build lines, different builds that not lead, but different constructions that work out or don't work out based on whatever's going on here. That's what I don't look like. I mean, there's multiple times that I look at I'm winning money. I guarantee I'm winning money right now. It's not about that. It's understanding where ownership is, what made things different here. Like, yeah, right now, all 5 of my lines cashing. I don't really care. The fact that right now I don't have any lines in the top 150 of this contest. That's annoying me. I got one at 173. What is causing my lines to not be in the top 150 right now? What is happening in this race? Like I can't answer that right now because I'm not watching. But that's what I kind of look at, and just doing that over the course of years and seasons allows me iterate a race to understand. That's why I focus on uh, not fade so much, but pivots and lineup construction. Because if I enter a weekend and I'm like, okay, cool, I think this is how people are going to build. How can I get different off of that? What are builds that can be built similar, but what situations can I lead towards that can lead towards a positive EV line that the field might not be running, or combinate, or just things like that. Like it's not like watch these lines and it's end all be all that you're gonna get better. It's taking that in. It's such a it's just one of the many things that I do per week, you know. Yeah, I mean I figured that. I figured you got a pit road. And stuff. Probably be live for like 5 more minutes if you guys want to chit chat, or let's look at Counter Strike real fast. I'm really pissed that they went to 3. That they went to 3 games. I was really liking the 2 games. I've been entering more and more lines into Counter Strike. Yeah, this is 3, man. I don't like the 3, man. If they just want to do 2 lines, if they want to do 2 games, do the 5:30 and the 9 o'clock start. Don't fucking do the 5:30 a.m. and the fucking noon start. They're just stupid. I just don't like. Let's see these lines. Let's see these. Heroic, complexity, mouse, Strauss, and Eds. Man, I just hate fucking 3 gamers, man. I love 2 gamers, man. It's so much easier. I have so much more fun. Just right fast. Think it'll be 2-1 mouse over complexity. Probably 2-1 Ents over Astralis. I don't know what the fuck Heroic's gonna do. Heroic could probably be 2-1 as well. That's a no play for me, man. I don't like that. I don't like that slate. I don't like those lineups, or I don't like those contests. Let's see, what are we at here? Good call on Creed Hill combination should have more Earnhardt than. Well, Weatherman was in 16th before the yellow. Um, Weatherman is in 17th right now. Yeah, I don't know where Earnhardt is at. But like, yeah, like that type of build, like Austin Hill, like I said, 11% owed. Don't know why. Creed, yeah, I mean, I know Creed got the lead, and he's using pitch strategy to kind of maintain his position, but he's good to play together. I don't think people would have played them together. Like that's like a build in my mind that I very quickly saw that probably won't be fucking Christ, dude. Nice. But like when I see that, that's a build that like I don't think people would have gone to and stuff, you know. Oh man, he's moving. Come on, man. I want like when these wrecks happen, I'm like, dude, I would love it if like the fucking window net doesn't come down. Like let's just not have the window net come down and stuff. You know. I just like if dude, if there was DFS in 2001, I would have been like, yeah, just fucking take Earnhardt, man. I don't want to fucking deal with it. I don't even want to deal with it. Sucks they could have tired down. Oh no, Gregson. You gotta respect it, man. You gotta respect. Gregson is the second coming of Dale Earnhardt, man. What a legend. I love how Gregson races, man. I love it, man. I love how he fucking races. Gregson's got a good chance to win this race now, man. He's got a good chance to be there. I hope Gregson wins this race now. I think he can get around. I think Gregson probably has the best car now, so that'd be cool. But like even now, like you just have like, am I mad? I mean, it's annoying when Gibbs and Creed gets taken out, but like you can't. I'm happy with the process. I'm happy with how lines are doing. I'm happy with how the build is. That's all you can do. You can't be there, getting all pissed off or tilted and stuff. You know, you just gotta keep moving on. That's how I look at it. I didn't see the comments. I'm sure you guys are mad. Let's see. Yeah. Gregson pulled an Earnhardt. Dude, people shit on how, like, I want a racer to do that, man. Gregson is awesome. I mean, Gregson is, and I'm not saying that as, like, unironic or anything. I love how fucking Gregson races. I love how he is. It's a shame I haven't had a good time, like, rooting for anyone in a long time. Haven't been able to root for Bubba in a while. I haven't, Bubba was cool until he became uncool, and I can't relate to him anymore. Stewart was a really, really hard last few years. I like Keselowski. Let's face it, that's going to be, that's a tough one to root for. So I'm like, yeah, dude, Gregson, I'm going to love being able to follow him through everything, and then he fucking goes to GMS, man. God, dude. Wow. What am I going to get next year? Maybe 2 top 10s and Gregson finishing 22nd each week. Like, wow, dude. Like, it's just so hard to root for stuff, man. So I hope Gregson keeps racing like this, man. Get some wins, man. Go out there, race hard, get those W's, Gregson. Like, that's why, like, Chastain, like, people are like, Chastain, Chastain got. I didn't like Chastain when he wrecked people based out of like low talent. Now he knows what he's doing, and he's just moving people out of the way. I fucking love that. But I am gonna go ahead and end the stream now because I got about 15 minutes to go get ready and stuff. So thank you guys for hanging out. Maybe this helps you out. Maybe it didn't. But I appreciate you guys being here, and I will chat with you tomorrow. So I'll see you then.